He likes it any more than anyone else.
Yeah.
Cooking every weekend. Great. Nice. You have like a nice place to display them on your counter.
No, not yet.
They're too nice to
One
put
or
in
two
a
of them
drawer.
are going to my son-in-law's for his birthday in August, but it's cheaper to do the set than it was to go just because the sets were insane.
Good knives, do you think?
Must not be in there yet.
Tony or Keith or thank you. Somebody's in there. Personally, if I design that system, you have VOG in there. You just hit the button. Yes, the person who's in the control room, you may commence with the meeting.
Exactly. I am the great and powerful Oz. Okay. We will, with that, we will call to order the City Council session for Wednesday, May 20th, 2026. If we could please have a roll call.
Councillor Copeland,
Here.
Councillor Owen.
Here.
Councillor Derenline,
Present.
Councillor Marker,
Here.
Councillor Weber. Here. And Mayor Kuderna.
Here. And if we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any citizens wishing to comment on agenda items?
And no requests were received.
Thank you. Next is a proclamation which Councilor Weber will be taking over.
As we come into June, we recognize a community of people who have historically been wronged. And this is something near and dear to my heart, as well as mayor and others of the council and the city. So, whereas the city of Fairview is committed to promoting equality, inclusivity, and acceptance for all residents, regardless of sexual orientation, gender identity, or expression. And whereas the month of June is recognized annually as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, asexual, and two-spirit Pride Month. And whereas we recognize that LGBTQIA2S plus individuals, particularly transgender and gender non-conforming individuals, continue to face unique challenges, yet persist in bringing vibrant, positive change to our community. And whereas our community is strengthened by the diversity of our residents, we honor the resilience and contributions of the LGBTQIA2S plus community in fostering a welcoming and safe environment. And whereas the Fairview City Council affirms our commitment to combating discrimination and ensuring all people can live with dignity and respect. Now therefore, the Fairview City Council proclaims June 2026 as LGBTQIA2S plus Pride Month in the city of Fairview and encourages all residents and visitors to celebrate our diverse community and work together to achieve equality, safety, and justice for all. And this 20th day of May, 2026.
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is review and adopt minutes from May 6, 2026. Does anybody have any comments or questions or corrections? If not,
Would make a motion to approve the minutes of May 6, 2026.
Second.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Next item on council business is amend Fairview Municipal Code 12.25. Alex. Thank you, Mr. Lopez, for coming down.
Oh, I need to read the ordinance.
Yep.
So ordinance 2, 2026, an ordinance amending the City of Fairview Municipal Code, Chapter 12.25, trees and shrubs impacting streets, traffic signs and sidewalks, to update and simplify code language as part of the street tree code update project. It's like you're already on it.
He's already on it, all right.
Okay, good evening, councilors, Mr. Mayor. This is the first reading of ordinance 2-2. It's the code updates to chapter 12.25 of the municipal code regarding street trees. This is something that we had went over in the previous work session, and this is the first reading of it. So this ordinance is going to amend chapter 12.25, which is titled Trees and Shrubs Impacting Streets, Traffic Signs and Sidewalks, mostly to clean up some of the code organization, add some new definitions, as well as some clarified language on use of street trees. Two things that this amendment will not adopt a new street tree species list, as we discussed in our work session. We are going to roll that out when these standards become effective 30 days after the public hearing. That way, whenever we have updates to street trees, if there's certain species that aren't working out, if there's certain ones that we need to add or remove, it'll be an easier process versus if it was formally adopted. That way we don't have to waste time kind of going through the whole process of that. And secondly, it will not adopt the street tree planting standards or the planting details that are going to be part of a larger public works project that is going to be coming in front of you guys in the summertime. Just a little bit about this particular chapter. So this chapter is where our standards related to all things street trees, right-of-way vegetation, designates responsibilities for what the property owners are responsible for their street trees, the listing specific nuisance trees, standard for trees as far as how you need to trim them in relation to alleys, streets, sidewalks, etc. The existing code currently, we still do require a permit to remove a street tree. We also do require replanting. None of that is changing as part of this. So as I mentioned earlier, some of the changes to this section are just to clean up some of the code language, make it easier to follow. We've also included language that when any pruning is done on trees, it's done to what is called the ANSI A300 standard. That's kind of the industry guideline for any sort of maintenance of trees. That'll help prevent street trees from being over pruned or topped. Those are listed as unlawful activities now and subject to code compliance. We've noticed a few times that certain trees have been topped so much that it's just kind of a single stick that comes out and there's no branches or anything, which is kind of detrimental to the health of the tree. So we've included some language as to exactly what is and what is not a good pruning practice to help prevent this in the future. Some of the changes, so we've added 6 new definitions and created a section at the very top of this chapter for all of the definitions. We've updated our clear vision triangle figure, which was kind of outdated from a different section. That just kind of is showing, where a street tree can be planted, how make sure it's out of the way of certain intersections by a certain amount of feet, how you need to trim a tree that is near an intersection. We've also specified that trees that are removed without a permit are required to be replanted during a specific time of year, so they're able to get best survival chances. And we've also removed references to specific tree species that are prohibited. There was a section that had, I think, 4 or 5 specific trees that weren't allowed. We figured we would just reference to the overall list, and if a tree does not exist on that list, it is not an approved tree and cannot be planted. We felt that that was kind of easier than kind of breaking it down and having several different references to trees. So the recommended action is to just consider the proposed code language in this ordinance and provide any direction to us on any questions or information that should be included for the public hearing on June 3rd.
Thank you very much. Does anybody on council have any questions for staff? Yes, Councilor Marker.
I have a couple of questions, and I think I asked this before, but I don't think I asked it of you guys. Concerning the planting of trees, will this program be also putting trees in parks?
The tree code updates that are part of the ordinance do not have anything to do with parks. It's really just in the public right-of-way along streets. So we have not really done any work as part of this overall tree project related to trees in parks at this point.
Do you think that might be in the future?
Yeah, it certainly could be. So we would take direction from the city council and from our public works department that oversees parks. If there's some particular updates that are needed, I don't know that it is necessarily anything that falls specifically under the code or planning, but we're happy to collaborate with the public works department if there are some changes needed to trees and parks.
Okay.
Yeah.
And lastly, but not leastly, how do you know when to plant?
Well, our code actually now specifies, I can let Alex answer this actually if he wants to. And our new public works standards will also specify this. There's kind of two places. And
It's gonna be between October and April every year.
October and April? Okay. Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Anyone else? Excellent, thank you so much. If we wish to move, I guess at this point, we'll take a poll of, an informal poll. Do we wish to move forward and have the second reading at the next meeting? Okay, then we'll go ahead and the second reading will, and public hearing for ordinance 2-2026 is scheduled for the June 3rd, 2026 meeting. Thank you very much.
I still like to do the first and second reading to deal with all of the common.
I see nothing dangerous there at all. Next, we have city manager and director reports. I'll wait for everybody to catch up here. And let's go ahead and start with MCSO.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. It's been a couple months, so it's good to be back. I apologize for that. So for the month of April stats, we had a total of 549 total calls for service. 228 of those were dispatched, with 321 being self-initiated. Of those, 161 were traffic stops. Emergency response time for priority 1 and 2s was down to 4 minutes and 23 seconds, which is a good number. Last month it was 6 minutes and 6 seconds, and this time last year was 5 minutes and 21 seconds. Total time call spent on each call is 19 minutes and 46 seconds, so that's on average. And then just one more thing back on the self-initiated traffic stops. The self-initiated calls, 321, that's up 49 calls compared to this time last year. Over the last 6 months, there's been a somewhat steady, although inconsistent, increase in the numbers of self-initiated activity just within the city of Fairview. So with that, I'll take any questions if anyone has any questions.
Council Weber.
Hi, Chief. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, likewise, thank you.
I'm just looking at the detective case activity and noticing that out of the 8 entries there, 50% of those are related to sex crimes. Is this a trend that you're seeing, or do you have any insight into why we're seeing so many suddenly?
I don't have any insight into it as far as the trend goes. So we do receive reports from various entities. Not just from dispatch. So the process, and we could be getting these reports, maybe they just kind of got to them. I would have to go back and look at previous months' stats and see if there's some level of consistency with it, or if it is increasing up, or if this is an outlier. I'd be happy to do that and get back to you.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Council Marker.
Chief, I want to find out, when we have a vehicle stop, or when you have a vehicle stop, and let's say you're going to give them a ticket, okay, where does that money go?
I have no idea. I would have to look into that and get back to it. It goes to the courts, the court system. When they show up at court, they pay their fine. I have no idea where that money goes.
I'm just curious as to why the court's getting it, because the infraction happened in the city of Fairview, in which case, we should be able to get the, I'm not gonna turn around and say, reap the rewards, but I think that since the infraction happened in our city, that we should get something for that.
Yeah, so I apologize for my poor articulation. The fine is paid at the courts. I don't know where the money goes once the courts take possession of that money, where it's dispersed to. I could see some potential transparency concerns regarding like a certain community receiving funds from traffic citations that are issued in that. But I can look into it, sir, and get back to you. I don't know how the money is divided or where it goes. I wouldn't even begin to guess where it goes, but I can look into it.
The only reason why I asked is because quite a while ago, we did have a red light, and it was down at the corner of Fairview Lake, what, no.
Fairview
Parkway.
Parkway and Halsey.
Yeah.
And the revenue for that red light was supposed to go to public safety. And for some reason, it never made it there. And the mayor at the time decided, well, if that's gonna be the case, we're gonna turn around and take out the red light. So that's what they did. But my thing is if a vehicle is gonna be stopped here in the city of Fairview because of an infraction that happened in this town, we should be able to reap the revenue for that. So can you check into that and let me know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Counselor Denley.
So as I was driving home from work tonight, and it's happened in the past few nights, there's an individual sitting on the curb on 223rd and Halsey. And they're sitting on, on the sidewalk or whatever, but this person's sitting on the curb with their feet in the bike path. And there was stopped traffic because somebody, and I don't know why, had decided to pull over in front of that person walking the lane of traffic. So I guess my question is, for something like that, do we have to call, or will somebody self-initiate if they drive by? If their feet are in the street, I kind of think that if I was gonna call and say, hey, this is a safety issue, this person is at risk of getting their toes run over, please do something, which tends to get a response. And I'm wondering why one of the cars driving by doesn't go, whoops, their feet are in traffic lane, maybe I should stop by and take a look at this, which, by the way, Hope could do perfectly if y'all don't get rid of it.
Understood. So a couple answers. Yes, when they could be on their way to a call, just because they're not running license,
Sure, yeah.
doesn't mean that they're not on their way to something else. Two, they could miss them. Two, they could choose to stop it. Or three, or four, they could feel that maybe they aren't a safety issue. There are several factors on how one deputy might do one thing, another deputy might do another thing. The concern being if they're in traffic, if they're in the bike lane, if they're blocking something, if, that type of thing, where now a car is stopping to block traffic, creating another hazard,
Right.
to assist or community talk or whatever that may be, that whole situation causes a bigger safety issue, right? So you could call that in to the non-emergency, and a deputy that's driving by, I would like to believe that they probably would stop and inquire. It's a very quick thing, hey, can you stay on the curb for your own safety?
Sure.
Sir, can you please move your car?
I mean,
Kind of stuff like that.
somebody walks through that area a bit, it's not uncommon for me to see 2 or 3 cruisers go by in 5 minutes.
Sure.
It's a fairly heavily traveled, both Halsey and so just curious and see if we can do something about it. So,
So if I understand you correctly, so you've seen that
for the last 3 days, that person's been there when I've been driving home from work.
and deputies have driven by and not done anything about it?
And not necessarily at the same time, but yeah.
Okay, I'll forward that on to patrol for awareness.
It's right in there. Okay. Council Wong.
Yeah, just to follow up to Counselor Marker's question, comment, and I was just wondering, do we, when we did the budget, do we plan for any revenue as it relates to parking or tickets that are issued by Multnomah County?
Any tickets that are issued within the city of Fairview, we contract with Troutdale to handle court for us since we no longer do that here. We do get the revenue less a fee that they charge us for that. So that goes into the general fund. And yes, we do budget for that. It's not a whole lot of money, but we do budget for it.
Okay, so the answer to the question is we do receive money.
Yes.
It may not be a lot of money.
It's not a lot of money, but yes.
Okay, but so there's no use in the chief going and trying to figure out the question. So the question's answered now, right?
Appreciate that. Okay, and just for, we issued 30 traffic citations in Fairview during the month of May.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, thank you.
Is there anything else you wanted to bring up, or did that?
No,
address your-
that was my
I got you.
answer, yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Next on our director reports, Public Works. We'll just go down the line.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, good evening. My second report, so happy to say that we are taking care of routine business as usual. Parks is keeping up with mowing and has started up irrigation at different parks that we need. Special projects that are going on, we're still working on the docks at Salish Ponds. They were need to be taken out and taken back to the shop for repairs, but that's still in works. As far as the stormwater side of things, we have had a couple rain events where we've done routine inspections through the system with those rain events. Signposts were upgraded at parks, at the actual park entry sign themselves. And then they did also perform some repairs on raised beds in the community garden. So they've been busy with a lot of routine. We also have 2 seasonals started this week. So we've got our seasonals that we need for the summer activities. On the utility side, flushing I think is just about done. I'm gonna say it's at 98%. We're taking care of all of our routine water production that we need. And we've been assisting the utility billing quite a bit with some read-time meters, just helping them out in that capacity. We've also taken care of around 8 fairly decent-sized repairs in streets, which were either around maybe water valves or just some significant potholes that we've taken care of. The crews also dug up and replaced a 4-inch distribution valve that was broken. The stem actually broke off, so they had to do a shutdown. I think it affected about 20 homes, 18 to 20 homes, and it took them a day, and it was a very successful job. And they've taken care of, I think, around a half dozen curb stops that were broken or frozen that needed to be done. All those were a customer call generated where they wanted to do some plumbing work and they couldn't get the curb stop shut off, so we went out and replaced it. We also had an unusual investigation of a weed hole where the water coming out was very foul smelling. We ran a push camera did, and found that there was such a belly that there was stagnant water inside. So we flushed it out and cleaned it. Thankfully, it was just rainwater that was stacked up and causing stagnant. It wasn't a wastewater issue, but we took care of that as well. And then everybody at Public Works participated in a spill response training that was put on by the city of Gresham and hosted by the village, so that's good. And we also, happy to say, participated in the Public Works Appreciation Week, where we opened up our shop, set up some equipment, and we had 2 4th grade classes come over and just do events with Play East, and it was a good time. So it was a really good experience. I think the kids liked it in school. We got some really positive feedback from schools. As far as facilities, landscaping is just about finished up, but that's been going on pretty much since last time I reported. As well as the painting interior, some furniture needs. The community center is getting upgrades done on the ADA ramp. Of course, the HVAC replacement was awarded, and then fire system inspections have happened, as well as extinguishers that we have. That's an annual event. and elevators have been inspected as well. And most notably, we successfully evicted a family of squirrels. Unfortunately, we had to get them out. So we have a mother and 5 juveniles.
Where were they?
Where were they? They were in this building.
Did you evict them or rehome them?
We rehomed them.
Yeah, that doesn't work, but we're not gonna talk about that.
We live trapped the mother, and then a day and a half later, 4 of the juveniles actually got out. And then one was still stuck in. We live trapped that one.
Hopefully just across the way, but.
Yeah.
So squirrels are incredibly territorial and they don't accept outsider squirrels.
Yeah.
So it's not quite as nice and rosy as people think.
And the best part of that is we found the entry points and we've got them sealed up tight, so we shouldn't have an issue. So with engineering, our engineer tech has been working on a few projects, most notably the design for Lincoln Street sidewalk. He's been working on some storm line design as well, and taking care of all the right-of-way permits that have been coming in, questions that come along with that as well, and taking care of correspondence. And then he's also working on updating all the public standards and doing a lot of work on that MS4 stormwater permit as well, which is up for review. For project management, happy to say that well 10 is moving along good. I won't say well this time, it's moving along good. They have successfully drilled to the depth that we need. We're between 491 and 658 for production. That'll be our screen. Drilling will be kind of put on hold for next month. They're going to be taking all of the different layers of the borehole, I'll call it, and they assess the different materials to determine what kind of screen and packing is going to be needed to make the most efficiency in production. So once that's done, then the screen is built. Once they get the screen, we'll start doing the installation and all that. So the well drilling is kind of on hold for probably at least 5 weeks, but the building site itself is, you're going to see foundation, stem walls have been poured, all the inspections that go along with that have been done, and you might be starting to see some CMU brick laid for the walls themselves. So it's moving along, and our project manager's been working on that, as well as some solid waste and recycling needs, the 223rd railroad crossing, we'll work on that, looking at costs, we're moving forward as best we can, talking with Kittleson and others and trying to come up with decision points next week. So, but we're working on that, as well as the Metro grant that Sarah and the project manager have been working on as well. So that's all I have to report at this time. Any questions?
Council Marker.
Silas,
Yes.
the, Alan Berry used to call them turtles. I have no idea what they're called. But on Fairview Lake Way, as you're coming into the development,
Okay.
there used to be about 5 or 6 of them that were right there in a line.
Okay.
Now there's only 2 left. It kind of makes it look unsightly because there's no double yellow line or anything like that to tell the cars where to go or whatever. And I just want to know, is there any way we can get that fixed?
You're talking about the reflective pods?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll look into it. I'll talk to our operations manager and see if we can get it on the to-do
There's a
list.
second set of them in 2 places in the village.
Both the corners? I do believe we have some in stock, so we'll look at that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
I think that's it.
All right, thanks.
Thank you so much. And I apologize, I see now that there is a quarterly financial report. Do we want to do that now, or do we want to wait until we get?
We can keep going.
Just keep going down the line, okay. I'm not used to that being in there, interspersed, so I apologize for not noticing that. Community development.
All right, good evening, Mayor Kudrow, councilors. Brief update from community development, code compliance. It's a busy time of year, as it is every year for code compliance, as people are out and about in their neighborhoods and vegetation is growing. So we've been working on sending out reminders and trying to track vacant lots in particular to get mowed. The notice across the street was mowed yesterday. And as well as our code compliance officer, John, has been getting some questions and complaints about tree branches that are hanging too low. So he has a new retractable measuring stick that he's taking out to check to see if the trees are in compliance with our street tree code, chapter 12, putting out door hangers and asking people and kind of talking with property owners about how they could trim their trees, so it's not a problem. In particular for school buses, we've been getting some complaints. And just to let you know, we're working on scheduling an abatement for the tall vegetation at the northeast corner of Fairview Parkway and Halsey, which has been ongoing. And we have a June court date that we are working on a case for related to accumulation of solid waste on a residential property. That's been a chronic case over the years. So things are going really well though. Code compliance is processing a lot of inspections every day, getting a lot of reminders, warnings out in the mail and door hangers. So the process, I think, is going really well with our new system, using the Oregon Inspector app to do the inspections and print out materials to send to property owners. In building, just a couple of project updates. The new office building on Depot Street is now finally in review for permits. I think it's probably getting close to having the review completed. So this is the new building across from Fairview Elementary School on the property that used to be Leathers Fuel and has been leased out for semi-truck parking over the last several years. Also, in new permits, the MCSO River Patrol is demoing their boathouse at Chinook Landing, and going to be building a new boathouse. So their demo permit was just issued, and the replacement permit is in process. So that will be happening this summer. In planning, just to follow up on something that I noted in the weekly email summary, Public Works and Planning met with ODOT last week to talk about a safety concern at Fairview Parkway and the westbound on and off ramp to I-84. So ODOT every year reviews the top locations in terms of crashes, and that was one that rose to the top for them. They didn't necessarily have funding set aside for a major intersection improvement there, but they are working to kind of squeeze it in with another project. And they identified a three-way or all-way stop right there. So you would stop when you're, before you turn left to get on the westbound off-ramp or on-ramp from Fairview Parkway. You'd stop when you're getting off of the freeway at Fairview Parkway heading west. And then you'd stop before you were heading northbound and you turn right to get onto Fairview, onto the on-ramp. Anyway, and so that is the solution that they're proposing and that they have the funds for at present time. We met with the Multnomah County road engineer. He reviewed the analysis that they put together and agreed with a recommendation. So Fairview and the county are prepared to give them the go-ahead to proceed with that project. And as part of that, we're hoping that there'll be some additional signage that goes up in terms of the speed limits, and then we're working to try and coordinate so that they can fix the pavement and then do all of the striping that will be needed for that three-way all-way stop. And just another note on planning, economic development. I just collaborated with Wood Village, Troutdale, Gresham, and the Port of Portland on an Opportunity Zone nomination. So the Opportunity Zone is a 2017 program that was created at the federal level that provides a capital gains tax incentive. Essentially, to avoid paying capital gains tax, an individual can invest into an opportunity fund, and then the opportunity fund has to be used in qualifying census tracts that are designated as opportunity zones. And those census tracts qualify by having lower income. Back in 2017, there were 2 census tracts designated in Fairview, the one that's north of I-84, and then the census tract that's east of 223rd and shared with Wood Village. It includes their town center and goes up to I-84. The program has been redesignated with some changes, so the guidelines or the criteria are more strict to qualify. So there's gonna be more competition statewide to get that redesignation. But Wood Village and Fairview worked on the Wood Village tract, and then Troutdale, Fairview, Gresham, and Portland on the northern tract. So they've been nominated now, and they'll be reviewed by Business Oregon, and the governor then makes the final decision. So it doesn't require really anything else of the city, other than if the tracts get approved, then we would help to market it in terms of bringing investment into the community. So I'll follow up when we know if they've been approved.
Thank you. Any questions for staff?
So first of all, the graffiti removal, just generally speaking, across the city is coming along nicely. I mean, I see it and it kind of goes away. So that's all good. My question is related really to the railroad. And we've been talking about this since, I'm going to call it late summer as we were going into fall. So I know you can't paint a lot when it's rainy, but things are somewhat dry these days. So my question is, how's that coming along? When would you anticipate that being corrected? And we spend all of this energy and effort to get graffiti handled in the city. However, that is like this ginormous billboard that just doesn't go away. So it's kind of like driving I-84 into the city and you see all the block walls protecting the neighborhoods that are painted. It just looks, absolutely disgusting. They clean it, it happens again, but my concern is we're spending all this time, energy, and effort to clean up the small stuff, and we need to do it, but we really have to figure out a way to talk with our partners at the railroad and get that done. So do you have any update?
So there are 2 different entities that we work with at the railroad. One handles the camps in the railroad right of way, and then there's a separate staff person department that deals with the graffiti. We've had really good traction dealing with the camps and in terms of responsive timelines, but all we've been able to get so far on the graffiti is it's on the list and we'll get to it. And we haven't been able to get a real specific timeline from them. So I'll try following up with them again and see if we can push to get a timeline, because I know it's been there for a long time and it's, it expands. The longer any graffiti is there, it just attracts more. So I absolutely agree with the concern.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Council Marco.
My next door neighbor had a rooster. And she knew that she wasn't supposed to have it. And I heard it crow in the morning and stuff like that. It didn't bother me at all. But I guess my question is if somebody has an animal or something that is a code violation, instead of us turning around and giving them a ticket or whatever, we look at this as a teaching moment to where we teach our folks, hey, look, you can't have this. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes, and we have gone and met with people where we've had rooster complaints before. So if there are any concerns about that, please report it to code compliance. We will reach out with a letter informing the property owner of what the rules are. Backyard chickens are permitted, but not roosters.
I also know that the guy down at the end of my street who's been doing burnouts and stuff like that found out that his boat and his RV was in his yard. It had been there for quite some time. Turns out that the boat and the RV have not been licensed. So right now, they're parked out on the street.
I I am familiar with that case, and it is one of the ones that code enforcement is working on.
Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
And thank you for planting Allison Chains in my head for talking about a rooster. Sorry about that. Counselor Dendelman. If you're around in the 90s, you get the reference.
Yeah, we won't go there. So following up with what Councilor Owen was talking about, don't we have a little slice of code that says that property owners are responsible for cleaning up their own graffiti? And that we can fine them if they don't?
So, right, maybe we should take.
Maybe the
every-
railroad needs to start, getting charged. We'll do it, and then we'll send you the bill. UP might be a little more receptive, I don't know, because they're trying to merge with another railroad to become the largest ginormous elephant in the railroad business. And they've been playing a little nicer, but, we have these tools. You have graffiti, you have 30 days to fix it, or we'll fix it and send you the bill, or we'll ticket you or whatever. And maybe that will take care of it. Because it's been sitting there for far too long. Far, far too long. And I'm of the opinion that we should start putting, burned out RVs on the tracks to get their attention, but apparently that's not kosher. A couple other things, this actually might be more for the chief, but there was a dead animal that got hit on 223rd on the other side of the trestle. And it wasn't a skunk, obviously, it wasn't a possum, it wasn't a squirrel, it was probably a small dog. And it probably sat there for about a day longer than I thought it should. And when I was driving home last night, somebody had pulled over and there was a gentleman kneeling there. I don't know if it was like doing a biological experiment for PSU or something, or if in fact that was his pet. But I don't know if there's anything we can do. And it's on today. It was a beaver. It was a beaver, okay, thank you. So it was a biologist who was looking at a beaver, not a dog. Thank you, I feel better. I actually shed a little tear last night, so it's bad. Okay, thank you. But in that case, is that a call Multnomah County, who are we gonna call? Beaver removal?
Animal services?
I've always called an outfit called Critter Getters that'll.
That what?
Critter.
There's a company that'll do that. The only one I know of is Critter Getters, they're called.
Same around.
Okay.
I learned something new as well.
Yeah, thank you, I did too, so.
Look at us learning.
Yes.
Thank you for the updates. I'm really excited about the update there on Fairview Parkway at the westbound, at the off-ramps. I won't throw the individual under the bus, but with a previous city administrator, I spoke about that concern, was told it's not a concern at all. And it's dark, it does bend, that the road does curve at that point. If you're at the wrong time of day and you're staring into the sun, good luck trying to see a car coming. So I'm really excited. My question is, are they gonna fix the potholes at the same time that I can dang near flatten the tire on?
Yes, they should be. That was the request of the city because they don't want to have to grind out the, they don't have to restripe essentially. So they should be coordinating. We brought it up with ODOT.
Excellent, thank you. If I'm driving my wife's car, I'm much more attentive. If I'm driving my truck, yeah, whatever, I don't care. But I have to jockey myself when I come to that stop to make sure that I'm over far enough to where I don't feel like I'm gonna pop a tire, just making a left-hand turn.
Yes, I agree.
It's been there for far too long. Anything else, sir?
Well, so my concern with that, I'm fine, put a flashing stop line on southbound traffic, put a stop sign on the westbound off-ramp. But I'm wondering who's gonna start keeping track of how many people get rear-ended if you put a stop sign on the fly around to westbound 84. Because if you put a stop sign there, there will be more accidents because of that stop sign. It's bad enough that the idiots don't understand what yield means, but you put a stop sign there and there are people who are going to get rear-ended. I understand 2 stop signs, but that one is gonna cause a problem.
I think if I remember, there's only 3.
Yeah.
So there won't be one when you're going on to the freeway.
So one this way, one this way.
There's, if you're going, we'll call it.
I only see 2, but.
There's
3. So you're coming off the off ramp.
Yeah.
There'll be a stop sign there. if you're coming southbound on Fairview,
Right.
there'll be a stop sign, and then if you're going northbound, there'd be a stop sign, so there'd be like a 3-car stop.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but if you're getting off of the freeway, turning right, heading towards Sandy, is that the one you were concerned about?
No, going up.
On-ramp for
On-ramp
84
to 84 West Bay. That has
If
the
you're-
yield sign that people don't understand what the concept of yield.
Oh, yes.
If you're traveling northbound
Yes.
on,
Okay, I get the 3 now, and I guess I don't have a problem.
yeah, I would so, yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Finance, your big moment. You have your presentation and everything.
Presentation.
Just a couple of slides tonight, but before I get into that, I did want to mention to you that we do have, as you know, we have an approved budget. So at your June 3rd meeting, we're going to have quite a bit of work for you to get through. We will have 2 resolutions in relation to the state shared revenue, one stating the city's eligibility to receive, and then one stating that the city does want to receive those. And then, of course, adopting the budget. So we're going to have quite a busy June 3rd for council. And with that, I'll get into the quarter ending March 31st report that you have in your packet. So this is for the period ending March 31st, 2026. A reminder, again, these are unaudited statements and they will change. The fund balances in these reports are derived from actual activity since the end of the fiscal year 2022-23, which that audit was presented to you, I believe, the last meeting. And all transfers and interfund charges have been completed in this quarter as budgeted. I try to get this bigger so you can see it on the screen. It kind of worked. So the city began the quarter, January 1st, with 20 million in beginning fund balance across all of its funds. We collected approximately 2.8 million in revenue, not including 122,000 in transfers. Total expenditures for the quarter were 4.6 million, which included $816,000 in capital investment, and no debt payments were made during this quarter. Operating revenues did not cover operating expenses for this quarter, which is not surprising as tax receipts dwindle after the November collections. And that reduced fund balance about 1.6 million overall, leaving about 18.4 million in ending fund balance. One thing that I was looking at with this quarterly report was how do we stand with our ending fund balance and how we predicted what our beginning fund balances were going to be for the next fiscal year. So I created this chart so that you could see how that looks fund by fund and then overall for the city. Again, fund balances were reduced 1.6 million by operations during the quarter. And then comparing them with the estimated beginning balances for next fiscal year, all of the enterprise funds look to be on track. The general fund is concerning. At the end of March, we had 1.6 million in ending balance for the quarter, and we estimated 1.4 million as a beginning balance. So depending on how our revenues come in for this last quarter, April through June, and keeping our expenditures in track, it's going to be tough to get to that 1.4 million. I'm cautiously optimistic that we're going to meet that goal, but we'll see as we get closer to the end of June. As I said, the enterprise funds are sitting with pretty healthy fund balances, and I have no doubt that they're going to make or maybe even exceed what we estimated for the beginning balance for the next fiscal year. And again, I always bring up the grant fund because it keeps showing a negative balance, but we spend the money and then we have to ask for reimbursement of the funds that we spend, and that always lags considerably over when we spend it. So that will catch up as we get those revenues in. And well 10 is a big contributor to why this fund is negative. So that is all I have to say. Does anybody have any questions on the report?
Questions from council? Nobody's jumping to the button.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Which one would, actually, we'll let her kill the presentation first. Sorry. I want to make you do 3 things at once just because it just sounds like fun.
She's the only person who could actually do those 3 things.
We'll let you get back, and I will let you decide, city recorder, HR professional, if you want to do rec presentation or one of your other presentations.
Okay. I will start with recreation.
There we go.
So for events, from May 4th to May 7th, we celebrated Public Service Recognition Week. The department organized staff activities to support team building. We closed the week by partnering with Fairview Elementary on a Touch-a-Truck and learned about the city event held at the Public Workshop. The event was from 12 to 2, and we welcomed 2 4th grade classes to participate in activities, as well as a variety of public works vehicles. We got great feedback from the school and appreciated organizing the event with them, and they are looking forward to next year. On the Play East side, they are in the spring term of registration. They have 367 registered participants. This is a 30% increase from last year. They had their 9th annual fundraising celebration last week. They had already met their goal before the event. Their goal was 40,000. Combined with the event, what they received, they ended at 48,470. So very, very good. They are also, he said, excited to announce that we have been working with the city of Gresham to extend the service contract that they have that ends on June 30th. There has been preliminary discussion about adding additional services in the contract. We should know more by the end of the month. And then he said, a big thank you to Public Works Department for helping with the Public Service Recognition Week, as well as all other departments for participating in the event. And a special thank you to Annie and Nancy.
Excellent.
Yes. So for IT, she has created a new help desk portal within Landsweeper to improve information collection for IT requests. We kind of created a rudimentary form, if you will, but this is a definite step ahead. We found out that the program we have already does this and there was no additional fees. But it also allows her to engage within the program, the notes and the dialogue back and forth. So she's really excited. We both actually, IT and the city recorder department, participated in the shred and electronic events. For IT, she was able to retire several desktop PCs, monitors, and miscellaneous IT equipment. I was able to put out more than 40 archive boxes for record destruction. By coordinating with the event, the city avoids the additional costs of a separate truck having to come out to get these items. She's been very busy, when I say she, I'm sorry, IT, with assisting with the City Hall painting project. She's been moving people around, setting up temporary offices and then moving them all back. So it's been a lot.
back on the city recorder department side, I met with Metro East and we reviewed an audio recording solution for council meetings and we're very excited. He actually is going to go ahead and order the unit and we're going to test it. If it works like we think it will, we will no longer have to use the pucks.
Wow.
And part of that is also a new mixer, which will allow us to use their audio feed when we broadcast through Zoom and YouTube. So I'm excited. Can you tell? Yeah. As our Public Works Director already noted, we welcome and onboarded 2 seasonal employees. We are ready to go with training for heat exposure and wildfire smoke for both our supervisors and our staff. And we participated in the Touch a Truck event representing the city recorder office, human resources, and IT services. And that's it.
That's all?
Questions? Well, yeah.
Okay, if you have any questions about any one of the multiple departments, you're gonna have to preface it which department. Any questions? No, you were so good, we have no questions.
Thank you.
I don't know what to say. We're down to council reports, and with it being named, we're gonna start at this end. Council Weber.
Met with the EcoFest a few weeks ago, and we did listen to a proposal from District 10. First glance, it does look like it's going to be more affordable, but there's still a lot of questions and concerns on validity and whether or not those are true numbers. It is based off the same model that Gresham was proposing, but significantly less. And then we are still hoping to get a proposal from Clackamas Fire District coming up next month. I think that's about it.
Thank you very much. Council Marker.
I really don't have anything going on. There hasn't been a Parks meeting, but I would like to make a special request. June 3rd is my wife and I's 3rd wedding anniversary, and I'd like to be excused from the council meeting that night.
Talk about that, not a problem.
Thank you.
Council Delmer.
So the MHCRC is taking its time going away. I went to the second to the last meeting in May. There was a, for lack of a better word, going away party. All the people who'd been affected by the MHCRC were invited to speak. It was 2 hours of a love fest that I didn't need to be a part of. And I took exception to these 6 Portland City staffers who spent half of the day enjoying a nice charcuterie board. So there's a lot of questions as to what's going to happen with Metro East. No one knows. I don't know. I'm really disappointed that no one seems to be able to write a simple IGA saying, hey, can we do this? But that's for another time. I also talked to David about the audio for us being on the web as opposed to Metro East, and noticed that there were a couple meetings on YouTube that were no audio. Was that part of what drove this?
Well, no, there was something was wrong in the setup. It was like, even though I said that I was recording and on our side, everything looked like it was running, it wasn't picking it up. It's, yeah, something was wrong.
Something's weird, and at some future point, we can sit down and figure out what the future is for the 22 people who watch us on YouTube. And I've never actually been able to get a legit number as to how many people watch us on Comcast. I don't think it's more than 25 or something.
That's a great question, because especially when it goes into a place like a adult care facility.
Yeah.
I don't know how you track those numbers, because I know my father used to comment on those meetings.
No, and
When he was still around.
I'm not advocating that we stop doing anything, but
Yeah.
perhaps consolidating things so that there's a single point of distribution might be something to look at in the future, especially considering what Metro East's future is going to look like. So, and that's about it.
The other thing was, as I'm, my usual pedantic self, the agenda boilerplate footer, right? City council work sessions and regular sessions are streamed live via the city's YouTube, blah, blah, blah. no longer, Frontier doesn't exist anymore.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, you're right, it does still say that. Oh, wow.
Whoops. Okay. Council President Arnold?
Yeah, no report this evening.
All right, Council Copeland?
Nothing to report.
All right, and as for myself, May is always a fun evening. I would like to give praise and thanks to the Fork management, the Fairview Fluid Plaza management. The Play East fundraiser night was a massive success. I do know that we had at least 6 people that I know of that had never been there before and kept saying, hey, we need to come here, we need to come here. And we continue to use these events to showcase a really excellent location that we have. And a lot of the praise goes towards the staff that manages it, the food carts that provide the food. There was a lot, I'm usually towards the end of the line, and I'm usually scrounging for scraps because everybody loves the food, so it was fantastic. Last Thursday, City Manager George and I did attend the Multnomah County public hearing for their budget. It was held at Mount Hood Community College. They had spots for 50 speakers, and we did have 3 Gresham city councilors. We had city managers from Wood Village and Fairview and myself. We all spoke. I found myself conveniently located right in between the 2 city managers who took a very pragmatic and a very logical approach. So I took the heartstring approach and just spoke from my heart. And we'll see where it goes, but it was a very well attended, the overflow room.
The overflow room was overflowing.
It was pretty packed there that night, so that was excellent. Usually I don't have anything to report for Impact because 99.9% of the projects don't go east of 82nd. However, they are looking at a model, and this is timely because it's been mentioned a couple times tonight, has to do with our presentation tonight. We are taking, the whole metro area is looking at creating a climate resolution, basically a heat map resolution in order to help people out during heat events. And actually, one of the models that I'm intrigued that they're looking at is from Miami-Dade County. And if you want to take a look at hot, go to Florida. And Miami-Dade County has the lowest rates of heat-related ER visits of any county in Florida. So it's a good model to use. And it ties into some of the other things that we talked about earlier tonight, specifically when it comes to street trees. Impact did last year have a presentation from a doctor who did her doctorate theory, whatever, on thesis on trees and their effect on people's health. And you can find a direct correlation between a lack of vegetation, a lack of trees, and an increase in health-related incidents. So I know a lot of people, I've watched previous meetings, they lament the street trees, it's a pain, it's a cost. It's a benefit. It's a benefit not just for aesthetics, but it's also a benefit for our health. And I just wanted to remind people of that. And it does tie into what Impact is trying to do, which is create cooling corridors, create more outreach in order to help people get prepared before those hot events so that we can reduce the ER visits during heat-related incidents. And it's something that we can do out here in East County too. They're also talking about how do the smaller jurisdictions apply. So I'm working with them on that as well. I think that's about it for me. Otherwise, yeah, we got through budget, yay. It was a fun week. And with that, we are done with our mayor and council reports. Are there any citizens commenting on non-agenda items?
No requests were received.
Okay, with that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Passes anyway. Thank you, folks. Good evening. And on time.
Well, Grandpa, how are things going?
Gramps. It's got a little more gray in that beard.
Yes.
They're down in Salem, so I don't see them much, but
Oh, okay.
I did drive down. Right now?
Yeah, me too.
You know, I attended a seminar about East County and
What keeps you going?